All right. I think that did it. We're live. Welcome, everyone. We're in the middle of Launch NX week, and we're super excited to have the Daniel Roe here with us. Daniel, how are you doing, sir?
I am very well, thank you. It's been quite a nice day. Yeah, really delighted to be here, part of the launch week.
Awesome. Well, we're super excited to have you. We have here one of our NXians, Katerina. Katerina's actually worked on the NX Nuxt plugin. I think you did pretty much all the work, right, Katerina?
A lot of the work.
Lots of the work.
I don't take credit for the whole thing, obviously.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, as I understand, Daniel helped collaborate with us to make sure that things were working right with the plugin. Is that correct?
Yeah, I pinged him one too many times.
Oh no.
Not at all. No. You're making that sound like there was some explosion over Discord or something like that. I know. I wouldn't take any credit for it. But Katerina, yeah, we chatted. But honestly, I think half of it was me saying, "Well, have you tried this? What about that?" Rather than answering any questions. And then in the end, Katerina came up with better but different solution. So either it's the best kind of collaboration, right?
Very cool. Well, yeah, there's definitely a lot of interesting stuff going on with Nuxt, it seems like. In particular, there's some things that seems a little interesting how it would work with NX. Just because in some ways, Nuxt is sort of like a mono-repo solution in the sense that you're putting front end and back end inside of the same project. And you combine that with some of your features like auto imports. It becomes not totally self-evident to someone, especially if they're not used to Nuxt. I feel like how these things ought to work together. So yeah, definitely appreciate your input on that, Daniel. I think the result's pretty good. I've been playing around with it. We'll take a look at one of my example projects here. But yeah, appreciate you very much, Daniel, for your help. And yeah, Katerina, anything interesting about the plugin here that we can talk about too?
Well, it's our first plugin that starts off clean from executors. Even though we first built it with executors, and that's where I went a bit back and forth with Daniel about how to use Nuxt or Nuxi and import the build functions and whatever. But we just removed everything once Crystal came over.
Yeah. So if you maybe you're not familiar with executors are kind of like, well, now these days, I guess they still have their purpose. They're kind of like scripting for more advanced tasks, I would say.
Yeah.
But prior, it was like this was the way you ran tasks mainly. It was NX executors versus now with Project Crystal, I feel like we leverage like the first party CLIs much more closely. So is that what we're doing here with Nuxt now, Katerina?
Yep, definitely. We just run the Nuxt build and Nuxt dev commands.
Awesome. I feel like that's how it should be. So
I agree.
Cool. Definitely cool. A lot of excitement on our side to see that come through. So anyways, I do want to look at an example here. If anyone's checked out the video that we put out earlier today, what we kind of showed was an example like tic-tac-toe project. Let me go ahead and show my screen and we can get to coding a little bit. Let's see. Can we make that a little bit bigger, I wonder? Let me make that a little bit bigger on my side there too. Cool. So let me maybe show the project graph so we can kind of see what's going on. This example. Oh, if it works. Oh, there it is. It's just small. So this is the project as it stands now. This is an existing project that we actually added Nuxt to after the fact. The idea was like we built this with React and Express. And we have like a single player application. We have a multiplayer application that's actually going to connect people through Websockets so that they can play together on the browser. And in my example, we kind of recreated the single player application here using Nuxt. Here it's just called Nuxt. But what I'd be really interested in is going from here to sort of that adding the multiplayer functionality in, I think Daniel recommended a new tool called PartyKit that I'm excited for. Do you want to talk about that a little bit, Daniel?
Sure. As in what PartyKit? I would love to see your mono repo setup and see some of the stuff happening there. But PartyKit is definitely worth. It's basically drop in multiplayer for an app. So partykit.io, and they've got this. It's a bit different on your screen from mine. So for me, I get these lovely little sort of polygons.
Yeah, I get that on my other browser. I think it's loading in. Okay, there it is.
Or yeah, isn't that lovely? Anyway.
Wait, is there multiple people in here right now adjusting it?
That's a good question.
I think there are.
Yeah, I'm over
that's
there.
You.
So
no way.
Yeah, that's me. So
that's so cool.
Yeah,
I think that's another browser of mine. This one over here. That's crazy.
And I bet some of the other people there are people who are watching and probably have joined.
I think this balloon over here, there's 9 balloons. I think that means there's 9 people here. Neat.
And the Greek flag is me. I
thought it might be
the UK flag. Yeah.
Who's this over here?
So cool.
I actually use PartyKit on my website. So if you go to roe.dev, it's not quite as cool, but in the bottom right corner, you'll see like a little counter, and that is the number of people who are actually on the website at the moment.
Oh, wow.
And it's like updates. If you open another tab, I think it will probably increase.
Okay, I have to add that to my wedding website.
Or it might not increase because it might deduplicate because you're the same connection to the server. But anyway, it keeps track of how many people are there, and that's what that is. It's not nearly as nice. I think I should do something PartyKit related. I also use PartyKit for live voting when I'm giving a talk. People can scan a QR code and I could do a poll, and then the results can appear in my presentation. And again, that's all powered by Websockets. So basically, you can run this PartyKit WebSocket locally in development if you want to, but then you can also deploy PartyKit servers to the cloud, which is hosted on a sort of Cloudflare Workers environment. So that I think is a really nice implementation.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
I think it's awesome.
I think we could use that.
I'm really intrigued by like how this works with the edge. I imagine it's like there's doing some magic behind the scenes to make sure there's like a persistent connection no matter where like the edge server gets spun up. Is that just black magic of PartyKit, or do you know, Daniel?
So I mean, I think it's on the Workers platform. So it means that I think basically WebSockets are a first-class primitive on Cloudflare, which it makes it very straightforward to do. But I'm no expert there. And then you can also interact with them with normal REST API calls. So for example, if you're deploying a Nuxt server somewhere and you need to hit or interact with the WebSocket server, it's not like you have to create a WebSocket connection between your Nuxt server and the WebSocket one, but you can actually just hit it with an API call. There's also, by the way, it's highly work in progress, but there's a new library called CrossWS. If you have a fancy checking that out, it's definitely worth it. It's github.com/unjs/CrossWS, as you've spelled it there. And so that is coming soon. Cool. So we might soon have something that people can use if they want to do their own WebSocket implementation. But I still recommend PartyKit. It's really, really cool, and I've only had nice experiences when I've been using it.
Very cool. Let's see. Is this it?
That's it. That's the one. But
very cool.
I mean, can I just say, does this mean you have light mode enabled on
I do
Git?
for GitHub because I feel like it's on light mode right now just because I had to do some recordings lately. But normally, I don't know. I feel like GitHub for me is normally on light mode. It's one of the few apps I like where I prefer light mode. Most of my stuff's dark mode. But
I'm not going to judge you, but it is just,
you can judge me.
It's not something I've seen, but like recently, the sort of the glare of GitHub white
I feel you.
in the background there.
I had a co-worker of mine. His IDE is in light mode. Every time he shared his screen, this is Johnny Toronto, Katerina. Every time he shared his screen, it would just be like a "my eyes" kind of moment.
Yeah.
I've got to say, if I work outside, in the sun, which is obviously very rare because I live in the UK, but if ever I do work outside, it has to be in light mode, really, to get proper, visibility in the glare. So
Interesting. Yeah, even outside, I feel like for code, it would feel weird to be in light mode for me. But
depends. Yeah.
yeah, sorry. I do want to.
How bright is it?
I don't know. It's pretty bright. I guess that doesn't show through on the video here, but it's all good. But yeah, how should we attack this, Daniel? Do you think you could maybe drive me in terms of how we could start implementing this?
Yeah. So do you already have a Nuxt project?
I do have a Nuxt project. I feel like we may want to create a new one, just because this one is maybe designed to be our single player one. Maybe we could make another one called Nuxt multiplayer and just use
let's do that.
some NX tools for that. So let's go ahead and yeah.
So I think we're going to need two things. We're going to need that new Nuxt app, and we're also going to need a PartyKit server, which will be its own directory. Or like its own project within your monorepo. So it'll showcase NX.
Okay, cool. Should we create that? Would that be inside of the Nuxt application we're going to create? We should create this separately. Okay,
it's separate. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and we'll start by generating our Nuxt application. So we'll go into that, and we'll call this Nuxt multiplayer, like we had said. Multiplayer. There we go. Let's hit a dry run so we can preview, make sure it all works right. I think that's good. Should we I wonder if we should not have an end-to-end for this one. If we do, I would prefer Playwright. Do you have any preference, Daniel?
Playwright is yeah, I love Playwright. That's good.
I love Playwright too. That was the whole point of this repo originally, actually, was to show like a multiplayer test in Playwright. But let's go ahead and generate that at this point. Cool. Looks like that's all set up. And per what Daniel said, we would want to create a new application here. Oh, did that not create? I don't see it.
Oh, it's at its root. So it's created to the left.
I would like to hoist it, so I can do that. So if you can't see it, I've got my context menu open here, and we can run move. I think we can run that. Move project.
Destination.
Yes. So destination, we want this to be apps. I believe. Do we want it to be apps or app slash?
App slash Nuxt multiplayer, I think.
So this is obviously more than just dragging a folder into another directory. So what else is it updating in terms of the monorepo setup?
It used to be adjusting a lot of things. With Project Crystal and with a lot of the updates, it's becoming less and less that's getting updated. But before, it would be like at the root of our project was where we would define everything to do with the workspace, including all projects inside. So there we'd have to like touch everything to remap where this project lives. I don't think there's that much of that going on to the point where we could potentially, it could be not that different than just drag and dropping it at this point.
I think it would update tsconfig .base.json. I mean the paths.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely right.
But that's only it, as you said. Not much more.
Cool. Well, there it is. I think
Beautiful.
that, let's see if that adjusted the tsconfig here. So I think it probably would. Oh, I guess it wouldn't actually.
Oh,
because
it's
an
a
application.
yeah,
So.
it's an application. So.
That's all right.
Yeah.
We'll leave this one here. Let's just ignore the ETE one for now.
Yeah, we nested it inside apps, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's apps, but okay, I guess.
How did that happen? Is that me? I don't know. That might be.
Maybe there was a typo.
It doesn't matter too much.
Yeah.
So we do want to add an application here as well. I'm wondering which generator we should use. We could use a node application generator.
It's super simple. So the application won't need a build step. There's a CLI that will deploy it and run the dev server, and it will just be a single TypeScript file that you have.
Excellent.
So it's yeah.
So I could just make a new directory here, and we'll call this. What should we call? Just PartyKit.
Yeah, PartyKit.
PartyKit. And you said we'll just drop in a new single TS file.
Yeah, there'll be a package JSON. It has well, I mean, you can run npx, I guess, but the dependency is PartyKit.
Okay,
is what it's called.
Let's do that. I think I'm using pm here, so we'll say pm add PartyKit, like so.
And that will also be the dependency that will give us our pipes.
Okay.
The server, but we don't actually use it other than pipes.
What's a pipe?
Sorry, it's me being unclear. Types for types.
Oh, types. Sorry, got it. Okay, so we've installed PartyKit. What should we create here inside of the PartyKit directory?
Like an index.ts file or server.ts or whatever you want to call it, really.
Sure. Okay.
And you're going to say import type PartyKit server, I think, from PartyKit/server.
PartyKit server. Okay.
And there might be a casing thing there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just capitalize the K.
PartyKit server.
And then you're just going to export an object. So export default object satisfies PartyKit server.
Satisfies.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, satisfies is that something you know about, or it's quite new, so I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm not as familiar with it. I'm used to like as like a similar. I don't know what you'd call this, like a verb inside of TypeScript.
Yeah. So basically, so it's like as, but the other way. So basically, when you say as, you're saying that you overwrite whatever it was with the new type. So if you say as, it's like, hey, this is PartyKit server.
Right.
But if you say satisfies, you keep whatever the type is before, but you just add the constraint that it has to satisfy, that it has to be the same. So that means that you keep the types. So for example, if you did as,
we wouldn't get any issues here.
Overwrite it. Yeah, you don't get any value from that in that case. You actually lose the types. The satisfies basically constrains it, but it still keeps the type, the narrowness of whatever that thing is. So for example, imagine you had a like an object, const a is an object, and you want to make sure, and that a is going to like have a key called foo, and then the value of foo is going to be 29. Now, if you say as record string number, then what's going to happen there is if you try and access A, so like type A dot, you're not going to get any type hinting because it's going to expect that any key you pass is going to be a number. Now, if you change that to satisfies, it's basically going to keep the, now if you type A, it's correctly typed as foo. So it's basically still, it's just the object, just as if you defined it const A as then the object. So it's not overwriting it, but it's constraining it. So now if you say foo and try and pass in a string, it's going to fail in the object definition. I'm doing a terrible job at explaining this.
No, this is great. I understand
very,
perfectly,
very useful.
at least.
Yeah, exactly.
So
well, I might still be doing a terrible job.
No, you're doing great. Is another benefit of this, even though oh no, so that doesn't change it. So if I said bar, it wouldn't like that.
It wouldn't like that either.
So it's not like it simply implements a record of string or number with further things. It's actually, it maintains that. It's just like the satisfies is actually just asserting that we still satisfy this type.
It's constraining it, exactly. So it makes it, it narrows it, but it doesn't widen it. So if you say as, you totally override it. So this kind of thing can be used. Yeah, exactly. So this kind of thing can really be used for like configuration very easily, because there's a pattern of like define something config, like define config. And you have to use that function. You had to use that function syntax previously to get the type inference that this gives us. So this keyword satisfies, and it actually means we probably could stop using that define config syntax, because it's not needed for type support anymore. This way, you get the types in that object, and also you keep the narrowed type. And before, the only way to do that was to have a function which could use type inference. So it's great. It's
very nice. I like it a lot. Let me say hi to Sebastian here. Sebastian, how are you doing? Nice to see you back here, sir. But yeah, we're learning about PartyKit right now and how we could add that to Nuxt. So we have our PartyKit server. I guess this is our PartyKit server right now. Yeah,
it is
beautiful.
Now, if you want to launch the PartyKit server, and it will hot reload, so we can run it in one tab or whatever. I don't know if you need to create a package JSON with a script, but basically it's like npx PartyKit dev, I think is the command.
Okay. So if we just did npx PartyKit dev like that.
Yeah.
I imagine this won't work at the root. Oh, that's not
nice. We have to
specify a main in our config.
Yeah, let's see. I think we need a partykit.json file maybe. And it basically has to have a main key which points to that file we created. So if we just like main is index.ts.
Cool.
For that.
Let's try
from that folder. Now, I'm sure there must be a way with NX, right, to get this all just working beautifully for us.
Yeah, for right now, let me just do it from the terminal, and we'll like cd into app/PartyKit, and I think we should be able to run it here.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
So now we have a PartyKit WebSocket server with a sort of persistent connection running. And it won't. I don't think it will really do anything for us because we have to add some event handlers so that when there's a connection, we like establish something. So whatever that is, that logic for the game that you're building, we have to write that. But we can do that, and it will hot reload for us in the index.ts file, and we can connect from our Nuxt app to that server, that local host server.
Excellent, excellent. Okay. What's the first step you think we should do? Should we work on the server first, or should we look at our Nuxt app first?
Well, this is an app you've built before. So what happens?
Yes.
Tell me what's the.
Let's take a look, because it's been a while since I've been in it, but I think a lot of the interesting stuff's in here.
Cool.
So on a connection, so this is using Socket.io. So I imagine the API is going to be a little bit different. But we pretty much have two connections here. It's very naive. We're going to say the first person who connects, we're going to call them player 1. And the second person who connects, we're going to call them player 2. So those are our two connections. And from there, we have sort of this other library that we're using here. I call it the tic-tac-toe logic. And we're just going to pretty much pipe things over to there. So between like validating the turn, we're just going to say, player 1 is X, player 2 is Y, or player 2 is O. Then we're going to like advance things to the next state. And every time we advance things to the next state, we're going to, I guess, broadcast that state out to both players. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And it seems like probably quite a lot of your logic could just be copy pasted.
Cool.
So yeah, why don't we start with that since it seems so straightforward?
Okay. I'll start. Well, let's just grab
I
it
wouldn't
all.
grab
Or
I would grab basically the import of the logic, and then like let's grab the import of the logic to start with. I think that's the main thing. And then basically our export default. So I think we basically have an on that in that object we can have an on connect handler, and that is basically everything that we're going to do. It's going to be this on connect. So async on connect, and it's basically going to take a couple of values. It's going to take I think the WebSocket connection as the first argument, and then like the room as the second one. And yeah, there's some context and stuff as well that you can do with. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
That's my mistake.
In that case.
There we go.
So basically, so in there we can basically set things up, set the room up, and so on. Oh, look at this Copilot! It's going for it.
It's chugging. It saw my stuff. So that looks a little wrong. Happen? But it's okay.
So in this case, you have got this add event listener. So you can add. So this is basically pretty normal WebSocket like logic. So you'd be able to do like WebSocket connection dot add event listener, and then probably you're going to listen to a message.
Okay, so here we can listen to a message,
and then it's going to take it's going to get that event, and the data is going to come across on event.data.
Okay. Maybe just to structure this out to data, and then we could do something with data. that basically maybe good.
You're in charge of the data. I think it's a string, and basically you can like set up what kind of event it is, what you want to do with it.
Gotcha. Let me look at my code here. I believe pretty much all we had. Like, I don't think we even look at a click. Oh, I guess we do send across the coordinates at that time.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So if a player clicked, we need to know what they clicked on. I guess what space they clicked on. So
in this particular case, you don't want to be creating a fresh board. So basically, you can store persistent data in the room. So if you if you have this room.storage object, so if you were to access like room.storage, you could then access get and set. So you can like get a key, set a key, etc., and you can do some useful stuff. So like you can have the game state.
Okay. Is there another hook here, like on startup, where we'd want to set like an empty board, or on room creation, maybe?
Well, I guess one of the things here for you is: do you want this game to be usable only for 2 people, or do you want maybe people to be able to share a URL and have some other person connect to that and play a game with them?
The latter sounds cooler, for sure,
doesn't it? So in that case, basically what we have here, like your WebSocket server, the server will support infinite rooms. Well, not literally infinite, but like there'll be a lot of them. and they're just you pass when you initialize the server. So in our Nuxt app, we could get a random ID and connect. And so basically, in that case, when we connect to the room, we need to do first check, is this room already initialized? If it's not initialized, we're going to initialize it. So if the room is initialized, then so like, are there already 2 players in here is also another thing. So if there are 2 people in here, we're going to have like we can't do anything, right? So we're going to be bumped. But if there's 1 player, then that's the sweet spot, right? We just join. So if 0 players, we initialize. If 1 player, we join. If there's already 2 people there, we bump, we bounce, and we have to connect again on the client to a different ID.
So this is that sounds good. So we're going to say 0 players. We're going to initialize the room. 1 player join the game.
Yep.
Join listing room. 2 players reject. Yep. Cool. So how do we check if the room is initialized? I guess that kind of goes with on connect. Is there another room and context?
So the room is unique here. So as in it's unique to the. We're going to pass a unique key to connect to a specific room. So I think we can tell if the room is initialized by getting the board.
Okay.
So we can do something like const room storage. Like it's going to be await. I think const board equals await room storage get board.
You said it's const storage.
Sorry, I should have said board is await room storage get board. And then basically that's going to tell us. So if it doesn't exist, then we initialize it. Now, as much as possible, we're going to want to make this thing event-based. So rather than putting lots of logic in on connect, what we're going to want to do is like add event handler. Like we're going to add that event handler, and that's going to do most of our work for us. But this first bit where we initialize the room, I think it does make sense to do straight away. So basically, that board state is, I think, all we want to do. We're just going to say like await room.storage.set board.
Okay.
And then that.
So here we're going to await room dot storage dot set. Is that
yeah, looks good to me.
Set alarm?
Oh, maybe
that's the only
set.
method I have.
No. What's the what would it be? It's maybe put.
That looks good. Board, and here we can say, let's just throw this in. Yeah, let's grab all this.
And basically, I think what we want to do is say, is we're also going to want to type this board. So we'd also do like, can we pass a generic to room.storage.get board up there?
Oh, yes, I believe we can.
Yeah, so let's pass the tic-tac-toe state there. So then board should be typed, I guess. And then we can actually put it there as well.
Like add a generic right here?
Well, I don't think we need to, but
oh, you're saying like it should let's add something.
I think you could just paste it in the instead of state. I mean, it's up to you. This is fine. And then but I guess I guess that's.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought maybe you're saying by defining a get here with this magic string that we were actually defining the type here on put.
Oh. No, I'm not. But I do think it needs to be defined when we use it. So in fact, in this case, we probably don't even need the to get the thing. We actually just need to check whether the key exists. So maybe even just do room.storage like has. Is there a .has there?
I don't know. That looks like the only methods available on it.
Okay, then get is totally fine. Okay, so anyway, so basically that seems fine. It's like that's the thing. Now we do need to check if there's 1 player or 2 players, and then we can dispatch some kind of event based on that.
Okay.
So we can access, I think, if you do like room dot, we must be able to check the connection. I think room dot get connections. So I think that's a method, and we can just then check the length, like how many of them there are. So at this point, there should be 2. Like, so if room.getConnections is 2 dot length, and I think we have to await it, right?
It looks like it returns an iterable. So I don't think we need to await, but we might need to like, how do we do this? Is this like new array from an iterable?
You can also just spread it.
Oh,
yeah,
that sounds nicer.
No, I think probably it does exactly the same thing.
Okay. We'll still put that.
And there must be a better way of this. So basically, if it's 2, then we do something. And if it's more than 2, we like, I guess probably. So if it's more than 2, we should like send a message back and like bump the connection. So probably we want to get the length before starting the if.
Okay.
Like const players and num players is like array length.
Oop. I do want this, but I don't want the if statement. So like this.
Seems good. Like, and then basically we should be able just to like do a little, if it's 2, then we basically send like an event, which is like game started or something. And if it's more than 2, we do something else. But it will be in this case.
This would be after the second person joins. So this would be, we have exactly as many people as we need.
Exactly 2. So actually the 0 players above is technically 1 player, because now there's 1 player already joined.
1 player initialized room. Let's say this 2 player. This is 0 base versus 1 base now, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah.
2 players. More than 2. Cool. I guess we don't need the board here. What you said, we just need to do something along this lines.
Yeah. So we have to send a string, I think.
Okay.
So unless send has a generic for us, no,
just a string.
So basically, we have to figure out that like the logic there. Whatever it is, it just has to be passed by the other side, and people need to figure out what to do.
Oh, okay.
And the other thing is obviously you have to know what player you are somehow. So you're you know whose turn it is.
Right.
And then I guess if there's more than 2 players, we also have to reject the connection. I don't really even know like how you can reject the connection, but can we?
I think maybe we just
close?
do nothing. Oh yeah, that's why it makes more sense.
I think we could just thank you, Copilot. I think we just close the connection, and so it won't. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, that seems decent to me. And then we need to add the event handler to like listen to these connections.
So that's kind of what we're doing here. So this would be, well, I imagine
this is not listening to the events that we've just sent. It's listening to the other events.
This is listening just to the connecting. Is that what I'm seeing?
Well, I'm imagining what's going to happen is on the client in the Nuxt app, we're going to like send a move event.
Mm-hmm.
So the event handler that we're registering here needs to respond to that move event. Like somebody has done a turn. So we then need to like advance the game state and tell someone else to do their turn.
Yes.
So it's like that bit is what we're listening to, I think. So we'd be listening to the message. There'd be some data. This is basically the server side of it. We'll also have to add event handlers on the client side to listen to like the game start, the game full, and then whatever other events the server emits.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. In terms of listening to or adding event listeners, are you are saying that we would do this inside of the onConnect hook here, though?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah,
okay.
That's exactly right. We can also broadcast. So if you want to send an event to so the WebSocket connection.send will only send it to the person who just connected.
Right.
It's just this connection we're talking about. But we can also send something to everyone in the room. It doesn't really make a difference here because we're talking to 2 people, so there's only one other person. But if we want to, probably the send game start that we're talking about, that should probably be broadcast. And so that would be like a room.broadcast.
I see. So this, let me see if, let me try to do something here and we'll see if
It would be
you're
room,
tracking. Yeah. So room.broadcast, here we'd say game start. You did mention we need to tell these people which player
What
they are.
state
Should we
is
maybe do that inside of here, where if there's one player, maybe we tell them you're X?
Yeah.
Okay. So
And
let's do that.
exactly. So that would be websocket.send, like
WebSocket connection.send. You are X. And then here, you can say you are Y, and then we'll also broadcast at that point that the game has started. So that way, both players will get that notification.
Yeah. I don't
that
know
should
if
be
you
good.
need to await the send. Is it synchronous or async?
I don't know. It's
No,
void,
sync.
so it's sync.
Synchronous.
Yeah. So it's broadcast.
broadcast is-
Interestingly.
Interesting. I'm just wanting to avoid any kind of race condition where we like get game start before we know.
James Henry is always so helpful. Thanks, James. James is on our team.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know.
I figured there was something
He's a
like
good guy.
that. It was never as easy as just doing new array. Where did I do that anyways? New array. There it is. Array dot from. There we go. Thanks, James. Cool.
Okay. So we also somehow need to communicate the state to the players, I guess.
mhm.
When the game starts.
Should
and
we,
after
instead
every
of
turn.
game start, should we just send the game state over and stringify it? I guess this has to be a string at this point, right?
So, well, in fact, I almost wonder whether this is the kind of thing where we abstract some kind of function, because
Right.
we're going to have to be doing this every turn.
Mhm.
So, like, I mean, yeah, we can write it in there, but and also I think each of these different like events, the U are X, U are Y, we're going to have to be able to listen for them on the client and handle them. But sometimes, like, which is totally fine. Like, we're going to update them. I guess these are placeholders, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so room broadcast, game start, and then could we just do, what about like turn, then the player, and then the state. So like that can be used to start the game, and it can also be used to advance between turns, because basically all you need to know is it my turn? Am I the player who it is?
Mhm.
And in fact, I mean, you could even set it up so that you only send that information to the player whose turn it is. But I don't see why we shouldn't send it to everybody. So like what we could do is basically like room.broadcast, and then send a string turn : like player number : and then JSON stringify the state. What do you think?
So the turn is kind of baked into the state already. That's why I was thinking maybe just stringifying the state, but we could do that too.
Oh, that's a very good point. Yeah, you're even better. No, yeah, just send the state.
Yeah, I feel like
You were
just
there.
sending
You
the
were there
state.
like from the beginning. I'm just sort of
No, that's fine.
ranting to myself.
I don't know if we.
Yeah.
I was thinking about whether we wanted to make a function to like abstract that. I mean, I guess that's simple enough. It's just like JSON stringify. But yeah, let's just do that. So here for game start.
I think we need a function because we need to get the game state fresh every time. And then we need to change it in some cases. Like when you're advancing the turn, you need to change the turn, save it back to the room, and broadcast it. So like it feels like it's a lot of logic, but
I see. So it's not just I see. It's not just that we want to stringify. Let's drop it at the bottom function. So we'll say like, would this be like process turn almost?
I think we might find it better to define it within the on connection handler because we want to access the room. storage.
Oh, that's a good point. So you're thinking right here inside of the event listener?
I know I'm thinking a bit higher up. So basically, otherwise it will be reinitialized every time the message is received. By the way, there's an extra bracket at the end of the file right now, which is throwing this error for the VS Code.
Thanks.
Okay, so if just do like async function, like sort of advance or something like that.
Sure.
And then I guess in that function, what we're going to want to do is like const state equals await room.storage.get that. And then what we're going to want to do is then update the state to change the player, the turn. So like state dot whatever.
Well, would the idea be that like we take the player's input, their coordinates that they send over as the parameter here, or are you thinking
even better, right? I guess.
Okay.
So yeah.
I think I have a type for that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You've done this before.
I have. We'll say constant next state.
Yeah. Ooh,
that's not. Yeah. Next. Let's say next. Next. We'll just call it next. That's fine. Right?
Cool. And then we need to save it and broadcast it, I guess.
Okay. So that would be storage put next and broadcast. What is broadcast?
That's without everybody.
I see. Okay. Yes, I was just trying to see what the second parameter was, but I guess we just want to like JSON stringify next at this point because we have to send a string. Is that the idea?
It has to be a string, but we probably want like a little prefix to say that what is coming is the game state. It's like just state : and then the stringified state.
Gotcha.
So we can like do a switch statement or whatever.
I see. Okay, so we're making our own little protocol here. So this is going to be like the name of the message is state. If we have a different one, we'll encode it that way. Is that the idea?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. How do we advance now? I guess that would be.
Well, I mean, does next state handle like no coordinates passed? Could we just call advance to start the game?
I don't think it would. But we could just for the case where we're starting the game, I think we could maybe just take.
We could just do that because I don't think we even have to put because basically
we've already put the board in here when the first.
We already have
so,
exactly. We just need to set it maybe.
We just need to set it. How do you mean there?
So at the top we said const board is, but then if there wasn't one, we initialized it. So we basically could do something like let board equals await, and then instead of saying const state, just say board equals.
I see.
And it should already be typed. So we should be able to do that and then update the put in the next line.
To be bored.
Cool.
Is that right? Cool.
Yeah. And we should at this actually we don't even need to do that because it's only if there are two players. So we haven't had to initialize the board. I was totally wrong here. But yeah, the board should already be defined. And it shouldn't need to be updated. So we just send the board, I guess.
That look good right there?
Yeah.
Cool.
And then in our event listener, that's where we're going to advance. So like we're going to have to get the data from the event. So we are going to get, so the data is a string, bearing in mind. I guess we could just, like if we only have one kind of event, it could just be, but typically I would think like if we have our own protocol, like we have something before a colon that tells us what kind of a thing it is, and then you pass everything after it. But that may just be my preference.
That makes sense. So I'm trying to think what other message it would be. I guess there's two different things that I did in my example. One was to say, here's where I want to move. The other is to like reset the board. So that would be the other kind of message I think we'd want to send.
Okay, so
if we
basically,
had
you could say,
something, yeah, go ahead.
if data is reset, that's one thing. Otherwise, we pass it as JSON.
Okay.
I mean, personally, I would still always do I would always do like a split. Anyway, like you or starts with, because it's, but like it doesn't matter. Like if data is reset, we can add the abstraction and create a protocol later.
Yeah.
Because if it's not that complex, it's not that complex. So
Right.
like if reset, we do that, then we pass it otherwise. And
right.
That should be us. Cool.
That looks good.
We can extract like the default board entirely out of the server, I think, because we've used it twice now.
Oh,
do like const default board just in the above the export default, and then we use that.
Here we can grab like so,
or default state even.
Yeah, naming's hard.
Yeah,
maybe starting state. I like that.
Yeah, I like it.
Starting board. Board here equals starting board.
Cool.
And here we'll put starting board, broadcast state.
Oh, I love how it's actually stringified it.
I know.
You.
That's like a senior engineer move right there.
Exactly. We can optimize out the need to run JSON stringify here.
Nice.
I think we do still need to stringify it though.
Oh yes. Thank you. Let's stringify. There we go. And otherwise, here we'll say coordinates equals parse data. I'm just doing two strings so it could account for the other array buffer that it could be. Was cool. A constant. Oh, we already did all this. That's an advanced.
Right. I think it's just advanced. I think that's it, basically.
We already did it. Beautiful.
We did it. Now,
does this need to be? Yeah, we still need to write the client and such. Do we need to like async await this, or is it just fine to let it go? You think?
I think we just let it go. Like it's.
Okay.
Oh, do we need to set the coordinates? I guess we do that there. So like.
Yeah, that's all encoded in the state. That's what's nice about tic-tac-toe. That's why I like it as an example. So it's simple. We don't need complex state. This gets the point across. Cool. And let me just check.
I'm sure there's something we need to install that in the. Do we need to add a package JSON in this PartyKit directory with the PartyKit dependency and tic-tac-toe logic? Because like, why are we using them from the root of the monorepo? Like, it should be a package JSON in this.
Yeah. Well, so the way we're doing that, if we look at the tsconfig base, Daniel, is like this is where that comes in, is from the tsconfig path at the base of the monorepo. So this is like an alias we're setting up for, for that library that we're importing from.
Oh, I see.
Now, how we do that here with PartyKit to make it aware of it, I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head. But
yeah, that's interesting. But can't you just add it as a dependency in a package JSON and point it to the workspace? Or you're the monorepo expert here.
Yeah. I don't think that will work because we're not using a workspaces approach right now. But yeah, we could try something like that. I think it would be more. Let's see. So this would, you're saying you'd want to do something like.
So I mean
that here, tic-tac-toe.
If that's complicated, we can just probably use a relative path to import it.
Yeah, let's do that. I like that idea better.
Okay.
So we'll say from / libs here. We can make this prettier later.
Interesting.
Or it's
Is it a TypeScript file?
I believe it is. Let's see. Tic-tac-toe logic and the index. There is
Oh, it
no
needs
index. It needs to go to
source in.
source. Yeah. There we go.
Beautiful.
Now we're
Okay.
happy. Let's check the terminal.
There's still 2 more. Oh,
Yeah, it doesn't like that.
we
left
need to
it-
get rid of the package
Yeah.
JSON.
I'll
And
get
then I
rid of
think we might need to point it all the way to index.ts rather than the directory. 'Cause
Okay.
it's just the joy of like ESM.
Yeah, so I'm familiar. Okay, that looks like we're up.
Does
Yeah.
it? What about the errors just above it? Or are those already? Yeah, you're right. That's old. That's old.
Okay.
So we probably didn't even need to add the index. I was just spotting them and thinking, okay, so
Oh.
cool. Let's get going with Nuxt, because that will be the best way to test if the server actually works.
Yes. So we have our Nuxt app over here. Let me let's open a terminal. I'll drop another one in here. We could just serve that one, I think.
You good, Katerina, by the way? Like,
Sorry.
you're, like,
Yeah,
here we are with it.
I'm just watching and yeah, just
You just
learning how to use PartyKit, to be honest.
No, you're probably taking notes on all the mistakes we're making. You're like,
Yeah.
yeah, that was obvious.
I don't, sorry.
No, you're too nice for that. Invariably. Cool.
There we go. This looks nice. Let me make sure this is up. Well, host 4200.
Yes.
Ooh, that's beautiful. That is so lovely. What a nice app.view file.
Yes, it's very nice. I love these tools, by the way. This is amazing. Oh, it's not working right now. I wonder if it's because we're recording the screen. But just the first time I did this, I was like, whoa, that's kind of neat. And I thought like when I clicked this, it would open up the dev tools or something like that and show me sources. And then it brought up VS Code for me. And I was like, what? That was so much nicer than dropping me in sources. So thanks for that. Was that you? Did you make that, Daniel?
No. Like basically everything DevTools related, which is like amazing. It's probably Anthony Fu, or there are a whole team of contributors working on that as well. But I can take almost zero credit for any of it. So other than that, I love it as well, and it's pretty cool. But Anthony, definitely check Anthony's work out. He did some live streaming recently on building a learning environment, learn.nuxt.com. And that's all on YouTube, so do check that out.
Oh, that's awesome. We had a question here from Sebastian. Does the library structure still work with the Nuxt NX? Yes, it does. Katerina, do you want to maybe talk about
sure.
that?
I mean, you can have libraries. You can have, for example, Vue libraries or I guess TS libraries that you can import into your Nuxt application.
I was going to throw
that was the question, right?
Yes, I think that's the question. I
Yep.
was going to throw up your blog post because that gets into some stuff we didn't really get into in the video. But I think you did a really good job of showing how your Nuxt application can actually depend on your Vue libraries.
Yeah.
And your Vue libraries can depend on Vue libraries like so. So the cool thing about NX is you don't define this. We determine this from your source code. So you just code like you normally would. And this will come in handy if you're trying to set up CI pipelines and stuff like that, especially for a super large monorepo. So just do what you do and we'll do what we do and we'll make things better. So, but yeah, let's go back to Vue because we have our application up and running. Lots of cool dev tools. Love all this stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I need to connect it, huh? Or no,
it will prompt
already
you when you
trusted.
need it. You probably will need to connect, but probably not until you access that bit.
Gotcha.
So do you have how much do you have of a UI? Are we building a UI?
I have in my Nuxt example, what I had for UI was a React component. I kind of transposed that over here. So I got some styles somewhere in like a styles.css, and we just use like a couple classes, and that'll get us to passable. Should we just grab stuff like this?
Yeah, grab
and
it,
dump it in?
I think.
Let's
Yeah.
do that. And we'll do the same thing over here. I imagine this should be like a component, right? So we'll say,
Yeah, I think so.
tic-tac-toe.
I mean, it could also just be your app.view. Like, it depends how much you're going to, how much else you have. You could just have like the entirety of your app be the tic-tac-toe board. For an app like this, there's probably no routing involved until you add like another page. And if you don't have any routing, you can get rid of the pages directory. And actually, you don't need view router in your app at all in that case. So you save a little bit in your bundle. It's a little bit more minimal. But
all right, I'm deleting a lot of stuff then, because we don't need this anymore, I don't think. To trash, and then here inside of main, well, I don't know. Let's dump what we had, and then I think we can just take this template, use this instead. Copilot's being entirely unhelpful there, I think.
Exactly.
But
it's
the worst. Sometimes it's the best. But
yeah, exactly. All depends.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay,
and we
you've
could
got
just
some
dump our
CSS.
CSS here. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Let me see if I could grab like a styles CSS. Nope. Styles.
It's a pain when it does that, when like VS Code remembers your CSS used to be here. The file is deleted now, so
thanks. Thanks, VS Code. Or
yeah.
there we go.
Oh, that hash root is probably not going to work, because that's probably referring to, unless, do you have an ID root in there? It's probably referring to the root React component.
Yeah, I don't.
So instead we can use like __ like hash __ Nuxt would be the root Nuxt component.
Oh, I see. You mean
like
in the styles?
CSS.
Yes. I think that's the only
But no, wait a second. It's saying it's applying something to the child of that, so that won't be right either. Just, I don't know, give a root div in your app.view, which is ID root, I guess.
Got it. Okay. Div. Like so. You go all the way down. There you go. I think that's decent.
Yeah, that got it.
I think so. Let's take a look. I think it should be running. Uh-oh. Did like something.
Did we? Oh, there's some red at the top. What's that red? That should be fine, right? Or does it need to know about the path?
I don't know.
Let's go back to I can definitely solve that if that's a thing. But let's go back to the is it running, the dev server running for a start?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And if we go back to the browser and refresh, that can't be right. Like, what's the use state is not defined.
Oh, this is something I hit when I was doing the video as well, actually. I believe if we look at our config, our Nuxt config, we have auto imports are turned off. I had to turn this on so we could get use state.
Yeah.
What? Why are they off?
You
don't like them?
Henry, you don't like auto imports? They're great.
No, I really like them. Yeah, maybe we should change that, but before changing it, we should check some things out. I'm sure that the auto imports, for example, the define Nuxt config did not work for NX, and it would throw some errors. So I think that's why we disabled them.
The define Nuxt config is not an auto import. It is a different thing. So it's not related.
Scratch that. I don't remember why that decision was made, to be honest, unfortunately. But I will look into it. I'll add now a time.
Cool. So if we save that, that's ominous.
Exactly.
Hey, that doesn't look half bad. Okay, this is all.
Yay!
So this is all using the single player logic that we kind of
Cool.
baked in here. So it's now in our app.view. But instead we want to listen to we want to use that protocol we kind of set up, right?
So
With PartyKit.
Exactly. So I think what we are going to do is we're probably going to do this only on the client. So like not worry about server rendering it.
Okay.
So if we do like I think we can still do like const state equals use state like for the moment. But then after it, we should probably do something like we should like initiate the PartyKit server and then connect to it.
I see.
So if you go to the end of the script, lock where you can comment the state out for the moment. We don't want to be first. We want to initialize the PartyKit server, I think, and then we're going to add like a listen an option to it, and then when whatever it comes back with for the state, we then set the state to be, because we're not responsible for the state at this point. We still need to have a variable that holds it. So I would do like const state equals ref null.
Okay.
And then type it as tic-tac-toe state or null. And that will let us basically have the typings.
You mean type it, like add it as a type annotation to state, or should I add it generic to ref?
I mean the generic, yeah.
Okay. Tic-tac-toe state or null.
Beautiful. And then basically we do need to just check that it exists. So we don't want to be rendering the state if there's no state so far.
Right.
Or maybe like we have a placeholder that does a shimmery effect while it loads. Or I guess if there's no state, we can just display an empty state in some way. Does it work if we have null? Like, does it render a board?
Yeah, well, so what we could do is we could just do the create empty board utility that apparently I already had.
Cool. but that's exactly right. Okay. Oh, so actually we have that in our PartyKit server as well, which we could implement.
Yes.
Okay.
That's all right.
Beautiful. That's perfect. So
that's our state. Is there like a client for PartyKit we'll need to import, I imagine?
Yeah. So we import it. We'll probably have to add it as a dependency as well. It's called PartySocket.
Okay. Let's do that. And add party. Is it party dash socket or just PartySocket?
Just all one word.
Okay. Beautiful. The magic involved in that, by the way, I hope I never stop appreciating it. But we'll imagine we need to import something from PartySocket.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Basically, it's just the default export. So just like PartySocket from PartySocket.
Okay.
And then what we can do is like after we've initialized the state, we can now add some stuff. So if import.meta.client, and this is basically going to be a I don't know why you don't have any of the Nuxt types coming in, because these are all defined and augmented by Nuxt. I think it's probably your TS config needs to extend from the Nuxt TS config. So
interesting.
Or the other thing, wait a second, go back to the TS config there.
Which one?
That one, the root one. It needs to not extend from that one so far high up. It needs to extend from the one that's right there. Or it somehow needs to, like, there should be a generated .nuxt.
Yeah, it's in the
ESKit.
it's in the root of the workspace, and it's under dist /
Oh, it's in the dist.
or yeah,
Interesting.
yes, and it needs to
Okay.
But I
Is
I
it
should be
possible
more
that
prepared for this, but I think that we figured out that we could not extend from it, and it would somehow identify it.
is it possible that things are thrown into some is it because we moved the Nuxt project into a different folder or something?
No.
So if we can extend from this, we'll start getting, I guess, some types in the our project.
Okay.
So if we wherever it is, if we go back into apps, Nuxt or wherever it is,
I'm taking a note of that as well.
Thanks. Well, here's the Nuxt multiplayer. So we need to capture. Is it the server or the vanilla one?
It's that vanilla one.
Okay. And we need to copy this into.
We don't need to copy. We don't need to copy it. It's generated by Nuxt, and so you shouldn't commit it to source control. You just extend from it, and it ensures that your TypeScript is always up to date with the changes in your project. Like if you create a component, So if you just extend there from that path, and you pass a relative path, I guess.
Right. Oh, that's going all the way. 2, 3. Is that right? I think so.
Yeah, should be
There's
right.
double apps. You can try like command clicking it or alt clicking it, and it should be able to open it for you. The thing is, I think, beautiful.
That worked.
That seems to be working. And now we have types.
Yay!
Great.
Beautiful.
So,
this is telling us, are we on the client, line 7?
Exactly.
Is that correct? Okay.
It will be tree shaken out of the server build as well. So this basically, we would do something like const like server or party socket equals new party socket, and we're going to pass some options into it. So we'll have host local host 1999.
Localhost 1999. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That was in our terminal, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then basically we have this other room option that we pass, and that's what we're going to have to set. So it can be like a random slug. To start with, I guess it could just be, if we're experimenting, just tic-tac-toe.
Okay.
But like later on, we're going to want like a
some way of
string.
generating a random like UUID or something here, I imagine, right?
Yeah, and we're going to need to read it from the URL probably, so that you can share a URL to somebody else that has the GeoID already in it, so they can join your room. Like that will be the thing. But for now, we can just hard code it, and then basically we're going to add like an on message handler. So we'll do like server.onMessage equals event. And it will be an arrow function or whatever. And you're basically going to handle whatever kind of thing will come back from the server. So we had a couple of options. So I think we did something like you are player X. We had that kind of message telling you what player you are. Right. And then we also have like the game state.
Right. If message equals you are player, or you are X, I believe was the message that we had. This is where it would be really nice to have types, setting this this kind of protocol.
Also not going to be message. So the thing that's coming in is an event. So it's going to be like an event.data is the message.
Okay, let's change. Should we change this to just name it event then? And
yeah, it should be named event.
Event and event dot. You say data, was it?
Yeah. Okay. It's going to be that string that is being passed backwards and forwards.
Cool. Are y'all hearing strumming guitars?
Yeah.
Oh, who's that? Is that you, Daniel?
I don't think so.
Okay, is that you, Katerina?
Nope.
How weird is that? What? Okay. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's. I hope it's not me. I don't know what that could be. But okay. So URX here we need to. So somewhere on here we need to actually include information on what the player's thing is. So this would actually need to be something a little different. So maybe this would be like server state is a tic-tac-toe state and local, and we'll just say this is X or Y, maybe.
Yeah.
Does that work? So here we can say state dot local equals X.
It'll be state.value.local.
Oh, that makes sense. It's possibly no.
And the well, so if you go back up, I think we explicitly said that it could be null. So I think we can get rid of that or null
Okay.
bit. Because we are initially
Because we're always creating
also,
with an empty board, but yes.
and that should also be server state is empty board. Exactly.
Mhm.
So and yeah.
I guess we just hardcode that to X at the beginning and then
Or make it an optional property of the
oh, that's better. That's better. Can we just do like so? I think
perfect. And then we just say, yep.
If you are Y, and then else. I think what we want to do is constant decoded equals event dot data dot. I think this will work because we did this, right?
Did we?
I thought we did. Let's check.
I thought we just passed the Jake. I thought we did the whole thing.
Did we do that? No, you're right. You're right.
We did. No, you did. We're broadcasting it with state.
Yes, we did. State. So that's what we need to pull out. I don't know if we need that or not, but we've already committed to it. So we're going to do it. .view.
A refactor it would be quite straightforward, I think. But
yes. Yeah. State. That's right, I think. And then we can say constant, or no, we just need to say state.value.serverState equals parse decoded. I think that's right.
We just need to like handle the logic, I guess, on the client, and we need to like send a move, like the new coordinates. Once we've made a move, we need to send that to the server. So we need a function that will handle it. So at this point, we also have state, because now it's server state, which might be how about instead of changing the state, we don't need one state object. Can we just have another ref, which is like const player is ref next to it? So if you go up to the top of the screen, instead of state is ref, let's just keep the state being the empty board, and then just do const local is ref, null or X or Y. Yep, that's great. I'm just thinking to decrease the changes needed for the current template.
Yeah, that makes sense, I think.
And also, it's conceptually different. So we'll get rid of the server state. Yeah, local value, perfect. And then we can just set state value entirely, and cool.
Clean. I like it.
Clean. I think we still need to remove the server state from the initial creation of.
What did I have at service? Yes.
Just create empty board.
Yeah.
And then I guess we need a function that is something like I don't know how the setup is down there. Is there an event or a button click or something that changes the state?
This is why I have it right now. So this was all local. So I was just calling next state. State
Oh.
equals next state locally.
Oh, I see. And it basically just changes the state. So,
Yes.
okay, we could do this. We could watch the state then and make a change, and when the state changes, we dispatch an event.
Okay.
So we just need to check that we don't cause an infinite loop, but we should be fine.
Oh,
So,
okay. That's neat.
What we can do, like this is just to decrease your, normally I would have a method. You would call that rather than just changing the state. I mean, it's up to you. We can do it either way.
I like your idea of like changing the state. So I imagine that we'd change the state two ways. It's like we'd eagerly do it on the client side when the user moves.
Yeah.
But we could also do it where whenever the server sends us an emission, we would update the state that way too, which is that's what we're already doing right here, actually.
Yeah.
So that's good. So I think adding that way, it might be weird just because I think you might be able to move when it's not your turn with the logic we have in place now. But I'm not too worried about that at the moment. Let's do that because I'm interested. I'm not very familiar with view refs. It sounds like they're almost like if you can watch changes to them, almost sounds like an observable, which I love ArcsJS personally. But similar stuff. I really like reactive kind of paradigms. So
yeah, it's beautiful. It's really, really nice. Okay,
cool.
So you're thinking watch and make the change that way?
Yes.
Or okay. So it's a little more complicated, but we can do it. So again, we're only going to want to do this on the client anyway. But again, I guess it doesn't make a huge amount of difference. But if you just pop it into the bracket there at the end.
Oh, I see.
And say watch state, and then basically yes, that.
That's beautiful.
Except that we obviously, when we send the new state to the server is going to send us the new state back. So we don't want to send back to the server the new state the server has just sent us. So we need to perform a check in there to avoid the loop. We would want to do something like confirm that they don't serialize to the same string.
Ooh, yeah. This actually might not be good. The more I think about it. Yeah. So, let's not do this. Can we instead just like do we have scope to this server? It looks like we actually may not. What I'd like to do is almost maybe just on the click, just say here server.send or send to the server.
Exactly.
Okay.
But in general, I try and get logic out of the template and into the script. So what we want is like to have a function that will do all the logic, and then in the template we just like call the function.
That makes sense. Okay, I see.
And what we should do is probably have a let server : PartySocket outside of the if import meta client, and then we just assign it inside it. And that way we can have a function which is globally like scoped to the whole component. And then the function can be therefore at the end, and basically exactly what you are writing at the moment.
Of move. I don't know. I'm bad at name. I'm bad at names. Focal type value. I don't think we need.
Yeah, because we have to send coordinates, don't we? It's expecting coordinates on the other end.
Yeah, I think that's all we're expecting. Like, I don't think we actually expect them to tell us who they are. We actually know who they are already. So I think it would just be as simple as this.
We have to add an event handler for that, don't we? Because I think in our server, how did we do it?
I think we may have. Let's see. How did it look? Advanced coordinates. So that's the coordinates. That's actually structured a certain way. But
where are we calling it? We're just passing them. Okay, so we basically just send a raw JSON of the coordinates.
Yeah, I think so. So here, let's just say coordinates, cores. I don't know. Base coordinates. Does that not come in? What was the name of it? Space coordinates. App view. Oh, the wrong app view. Monorepo troubles. There we go. We just want to send essentially JSON.stringify and then the coordinates. Then here, just on the click, we would call this method.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just pass the, whatever the coordinates are. We probably also want to disable that button so that it doesn't work if it's not your turn. To
Yes.
stop people from being able to send the other player's move.
How do we annotate that inside of view templates? I'm not familiar with that. Imagine something like disable.
Exactly. Yeah. And
okay, cool.
but you'd use a colon before disable to say that it's going to have. So if it doesn't have a before the word disabled, yeah. So if it doesn't have a colon, it's a string value, and if it has a colon, it's a JavaScript value. So in this case, you can basically say, put it some JavaScript expression or a TypeScript expression,
and evaluate that expression before.
Yeah.
Got it. Neat. I don't know exactly what the logic here would be, because I don't think we have a concept of whose turn it is at the moment inside
don't
of
we?
the board.
It's in the state. I think it's in the board. We've got the turn is like X's turn or Y's turn. And I'm just assuming that your tic-tac-toe library deals with it. So it's like turn is X's turn.
Oh, you're right. You're right. That's exactly right. Okay. Beautiful.
So it'd be like if state.turn equals local.turn, local's turn, then we can go.
State dot. Do we have to do value here or?
No, in the template, no value is required. So doesn't equal. Yeah, that's right.
Doesn't equal. Here it would be
local's turn. I think it had it a moment ago for us. We'll use a template literal probably, or like
a template literal. Oh, like
a backtick.
Yeah,
that's it.
I see what you're saying now.
Okay.
Local.values turn, exactly.
It doesn't need the dot value, but yeah. And okay, so that should disable it. But I mean, we might also want to check in send coordinates of move, just in case. Because I think a button being disabled doesn't mean it can't be clicked, I think. So we still need to probably handle that in the thing. And we probably also, if it's disabled, want to give it like like no pointer events and opacity faded. I don't know. There's probably some stuff we want to do. And disabling it is probably the right thing. Okay. Probably also want to have a form or something. But anyway, the so in coordinates, send coordinates to move, we could do something like if state.turn doesn't equal local's turn, then like return. We just early return and don't do anything.
I see.
As an abundance of caution, I think.
I see what you're saying. If state.turn.
But in this case, I'm afraid dot value will be required. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. Dot value. Yeah. Okay. I don't like that syntax, but that's nicer for me. Oops. Cool. So now we have that. Will this work? Question. Is there anything else we need at this point? I think it's kind of there.
I'm sure we'll figure out what it is as soon as we.
I think I know what this is actually. I think create empty board is actually going to create a board without a turn. So we need to say board is like so, and turn is X's turn. Cool. Let's try that. Refresh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we can't.
We need a second player, right?
Exactly. Do you have another browser? Because I don't.
Oh,
it
is
enough to have
PartyKit
two
going to do this?
tabs?
I don't know.
It might be the same WebSocket connection. Like,
Let me try another browser here. This is off screen, so magic, but I don't think that fixed it either.
No. Okay.
Okay.
Now, the thing is, it has no like there's several layers at which this could be going wrong because we wrote the server, we've not tested it, and we've written a Nuxt application, we've not tested that either. So like it could be a number of things. We could add some logs to figure out like what's going on. For a start, like when our server on message, the first thing we could do is just log data, like event.data, and just see what that is in the console, what's happening.
Right. Okay. So here we could say, is this the best way to do it, I imagine?
I'd log the data.
Okay.
Otherwise, it will be harder to see.
Okay.
Cool. Let's see what that is. And let's see that console.
That beautiful console.
We love it.
Get rid of this stuff.
Okay.
Let's make this bigger.
Okay, so we've got a state. The board state has come through, and it's X's turn. So it's not us. That's fine. And I'm guessing X doesn't have any access. Should there be buttons? Like, are there things that should be showing up in the gaps?
There are. I don't know if you can tell. I think they're disabled. So if I inspect here, we do have a disabled button. Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
So we're actually further than we thought because I believe if it said URY, that was the information that we got. So is this one? If we inspect this one, what's
game full?
Game
okay,
full.
This person got a like bounce thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's fine.
You know what? I bet it is. We might have to restart our PartyKit server because right now we can't take more than 2. Right?
Yeah. I think if you disconnect though, it will if you just close a tab, it should close the connection.
Interesting. So if I tried a new local host, what does this say? Inspect. You are what? Wait.
Okay, so our logic then of our server is probably that we're not tracking the people correctly.
Yeah, we're probably not listening to people leaving. So we just, as people leave, I guess we're reinserting them here into new spots. Is that what you're thinking?
Well, let's go back to the server and see what we're doing. So we are saying,
right.
If there's a board, then interesting. So no, you're right that we can have a second player lose and join again, but the first player, like the starting board, you'll never get the X again. So we could say if not board or if num players is 1. We should probably add that up there, and we'll have to move the num players thing above it.
Right.
So I think that will let us like restart the thing. Now, why is it complaining about board equaling starting board? That's the other thing. Because starting board and board, tic-tac-toe state is not right, I guess.
I see. Okay.
The starting board. Do we need to just...
this needs to be...
annotate.
Yeah. I feel like that fixes... No?
I think we should just say satisfies after the board. Starting board is that satisfies tic-tac-toe state.
I see what you're saying.
That should be...
It all comes full circle.
It does. It does. I was thinking the same. Exactly.
Beautiful. That did it.
Okay. Let's see. Might still not work, but...
Yeah. What I'd almost like to do, Daniel, is stop the server, close out our
Yeah.
tabs, restart the server, and open our tabs and just see what each tab is logging, if that's all right.
Go for it. And I think, I mean, obviously we need more handling of various events in here.
Right. Yeah. This is all very sketch, I feel like. But
yeah,
let's close our tabs and we'll come to PartyKit. Let's exit and we'll restart it. Beautiful. Now let's try localhost. I'm sorry, I know we're going over time here, but yeah.
I
Let me
will
know.
actually need to drop in a bit because I need to go to the supermarket, which closes at 8:30.
Sorry, Katerina. Thanks for sticking on though. Feel
Thank
free
you.
to
Bye.
drop.
Okay, I will drop since I'm not helping that much in any case.
This is
So-
good. No, you are helping a lot. Okay, this is good though, because if you go to the other tab, I'm sorry for getting so excited, but the buttons are there. Click a button.
Yes.
No?
No. I'm clicking.
Okay,
Is that
are they disabled?
they're not.
They're not disabled, but we're
Yes.
not being able to click. So let's
Well, we
go
are
into-
clicking, but I imagine oh, it doesn't log over here. I imagine we could add logs to our server if
We could
wanted.
indeed.
I guess that would be on message. Here we could just log the data.
Wait. Yeah, we could. But why is advanced? The type isn't working there. What is next state expecting? Should we be passing state dot? Oh no, we just have to assert that it exists. So
Yeah. I don't know if we should throw an error here or what. Let's just return for now. Better to throw, probably? Question mark. Okay, that fixes that. Any other reds? I see. No, I don't see any. Sorry, go ahead, Daniel.
yeah, we could certainly just log the message. So just log data again.
Okay, just right here. We're thinking log data. Hey, little one.
Yeah. Do you want to see the person I'm talking to here?
Yeah, let me make it bigger. Hi there. Cool. Let me go ahead and close out these tabs again. How many little ones do you have, Daniel, if you don't mind me asking? Oh, are you on mute or am I on? I can't hear you right now. I may have lost your audio. Oh, still can't hear. Can you hear me? Can you give me a thumbs up if you hear me? Okay, I saw the nod. Got it. Let's see. Well, while you're trying to get that back, let me go ahead and restart this. This is where I feel like it's unfortunate we're going to have to do a very specific set of things. We have buttons. We have URX, localhost. I would love logs here too on users connecting on the server side. But I think, let's see if we are sending anything when we did that. No. Okay. So the error must be on the client side. I imagine, I forget how the network stuff works. I actually wouldn't know how it works for PartyKit, but I still can't hear you, Daniel. Sorry. So sorry. I see you trying to tell me the answer here. that's okay. Let's see. We're so close. I imagine one thing we could do, app view, go to the multiplayer. Nope, that's not right. App view. There we go. I think what I want here is probably something inside of our function to send coordinates of move. Server send. So here, let's just console.log coordinates. Make sure I can see that maybe. Did we not bind this correctly on the click? Send coordinates of move. That seems right. Send coordinates of move, log the coordinates. Let me try to refresh here, but now it's going to tell me I'm Y, unfortunately. Refresh. Access turn. I think at this point I might need to restart the server. Daniel, is there any, do you think we'll get audio back? I'm so sorry. No. Oh no, I don't know what we did, but is that, let me make sure it's not on me real quick. Yeah, no, my audio test is working. Addition, thank you. The if condition looks sus. What is that? And hey, Teen. Welcome, Teen. And thank you for helping us figure things out, James. Apologies to everyone for the issues here. So where does the URY log come from? Oh, in that log. And your check is lowercase. Yes, I think that would be helpful. Let's see, before send. I think Daniel's reconnecting at this point, so hopefully that'll work. Let me check. Daniel, welcome back. Still can't hear. Oh no. No. Oh bother. All right. I think in the logs where we say console.log, let's try adding Daniel back once more. Testing.
Testing.
Yay! You sound weird, but I can hear you. So that will take it. Thank you. Cool. I think so. James was saying it might have to do with the capitalization, but no, I think we handled this right. And Addition Addict was saying there's an if condition that looks sus before send.
It's checking that the state, like it's checking that the state, the turn is your turn before sending. So you could just disable that entirely. So if you go into the function that disables that there, send coordinates of move, and just disable the test where we have the state. Oh, it should be state.value.turn.
Oh, that would do it. It still doesn't explain why I wasn't seeing this console log on line 41 though.
I don't think you had the console open. You were looking at the elements, right?
Oh, I thought I was looking at the console, but maybe.
Oh,
let's see.
No, I was distracted by my microphone, so I didn't spot it.
It's possible that the disabled was stopping it. So I'm going to go through the whole thing. Let's restart our server. There we go.
The other thing is that reset game button should probably be something that would work at this point to restart the game.
Oh, yes, that's true.
But we would have to implement that.
I think that would be simple. Yes.
Yeah.
Here, we don't need to stringify. We just need to send string reset. Then here we could say send reset This is the button the losers are going to click right before they lose, I think.
Exactly.
Send reset. I don't need coordinates, actually. Just need to send the message, and that should be sufficient. Cool. All right. So we've restarted the server. I don't have any browsers yet. So hopefully this one will say URX. And we do. Second one, the host. Console. URY. Beautiful. Disabled buttons here if you didn't notice, but enabled buttons here for X. So let's try clicking. Hey.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Buttons are still disabled, but we do see the X in there. That's
It's
progress.
because it says turn O's turn.
Oh.
We said X and Y, but it
Oh
looks like
no. Why did I say
the
X
turn-
and Y? That's unfortunate. Okay. Let's find URX. You are okay. I don't love that, but why did I
What?
say X and Y? Let's just say URO. We're gonna change that on the server here too, because that's bothering me way too much. Index.
Like, I
Find
think
you are here. Oh. Did that okay. I think that fixes, maybe? Anything you're seeing, Daniel?
no, that looks good to me.
Okay. Let's kill, and is the server started? I actually don't know what that would do if okay, we got the URX. We're to say that's a win. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get to the end here, but we'll do it. URO. Okay. So let's click. Yay. Ah, it's working. It's so beautiful.
Amazing. Good job.
Let's make a win here just to make sure. Okay, and I imagine at this point things break because we don't know what to do when. Oh,
Exactly.
that's actually kind of nice. Everything's just disabled. Can we reset the game? Oh, it's beautiful. All right, I'm calling this a win, Daniel. This works. Thanks so
cool.
much for jumping on with us, showing us PartyKit, showing us some of the Nuxt stuff. This is really neat. Interestingly, maybe just as a way of wrapping this up, one of the things I'm not super familiar with, like some of these full stack frameworks like Next and Nuxt, and there's FeltKit and there's Solid Start, all these things. Is the drive for this really just to get like server side rendering or something akin to that, whether it's like server side generation or something along those lines, or is the idea here really to have these things as like here's a server that's going to ship with your front end application?
So yeah, a lot of the drive is actually to have a server. And now PartyKit, in this case, we ran as a separate server, but you should be able to deploy Nuxt to PartyKit as your PartyKit server. And so you would then be able to get all of this built into one app rather than having a separate backend for it.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, and I mean, I think that it's really nice to be able to do things like deploy to Cloudflare workers, or Vercel Edge or Netlify or any of these providers, whether they're Lambda, serverless, worker, or static, and actually just be able to have everything that you need, whether it's backend or front end there too.
Right.
It's yeah. I think a lot of the type safety and the DX, we encountered a few friction points there, but I'm sure we can get that resolved. So it works.
We're close.
Perfectly.
We're close.
Exactly.
It would be nice. There's definitely some places there too where like the type annotations just weren't coming through inside of like the view component, just from other places in the mono repo as well. I imagine it's like, I don't know if can we extend multiple things with one TS config? I don't think so. So figuring out how to do that. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I see that there was some kind of NX paths plugin being
Right.
inserted. I think it should be very possible to do that with a Nuxt module that integrates
Okay.
with NX. So I think that it should be very, very easy to do, very
Okay.
straightforward to integrate with and provide all that TypeScript and the aliases that are true in your mono repo. We basically need to provide them on 2 levels. So one to the actual components, so we can resolve them, and then to TypeScript, so you get the IDE experience. But yeah, that's something we can collab on.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds great. I know Katerina was taking notes on ways we could continue to improve it, but it's just cool to be able to have these things inside of NX now and have really good support for it. So
Absolutely.
Having the plugin means we're committing to keeping it going. So we'll get those fixes in.
I love to see it. It's been such a sort of desired feature to see NX working well with Nuxt. So
that's awesome to hear. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, Daniel, thanks so much for everything you do. You know, you're working on Nuxt. I know you're streaming some yourself too. I checked in on one of the streams. It looks cool. You're definitely probably better at this than I am. But yeah,
not at all. No. It's been a lot of fun to be here today for sure.
Awesome. Well, I love having you here. Let's end it here because I got little ones too I got to get to. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining, and we'll see you tomorrow for more Launch NX stuff. It's a big surprise what's coming tomorrow, so stay tuned. Peace, everyone.